Here's to the Pittsburgh we know. Hey world, we've got the city to show. Here's to the Highland Park Zoo and rare birds like me and you. Here's to making a date, dancing, romancing, and getting home late. Here's to grinding it out. We're not fancy, but we've got clouds. 2 is for working a mind to find a view as they climb. 2 is for heaven at heights, all with breathing. Yes, here's to potholes we missed, and to joining your lives with a kiss. Here's to friendly, honest people, solid through and through. It takes 2. Here's to you. Here's to Pittsburgh. Here's to the rivers and hills. Here's to the sweat and the skills. Here's to a Kennywood ride, the feeling of pride in Pittsburgh. Here's to the city at night, the glow of the lights of Pittsburgh. Here's to
Southside at dawn.
and to catch on the lawn, the Pirates and Steelers and the rods and the reelers. They're a mania in Pennsylvania. Here's to the guitars and jeans and the new disco scene in Pittsburgh. From North Hills to South Hills in harmony too, we're sending this cheer. Here's to you. Here's to Pittsburgh. Here's to the people of steel. Here's to a flea market deal. Here's to the cities and farms, the neighborhood charms of Pittsburgh. Here's to the Little League teams, the hopes and the dreams of Pittsburgh. Here's to you. Here's to Pittsburgh. Here's to Mount Washington's view. Here's to a shot and a brew. Here's to a trip to the Strip, the flowers that fits in Pittsburgh. Here's to the houses restored and the country explored round Pittsburgh. Here's to
Frisbees at Brick.
Here's to fish in the creek, a game at 3 Rivers and a team that delivers. Here's to skippers on Gateway Clippers. Here's to the hard hats and sparks and the north and south parts of Pittsburgh. From bocce to boating, kielbasa to stew, we're saying it's true. Here's to you. Here's to Pittsburgh. Here's to a Pittsburgher's pride. Here's to a Kennywood ride. Here's to choirs who sing and to Sundays when church bells ring. Here's to spirit and here's to grit. Here's to seeing your kids go to bit. Here's to mining the coal
And to scoring the touchdowns and goals.
Here's to hiking the hills.
And to shooting the rapids for thrills.
Here's to woodwinds in summer, to twirlers and drummers. Yes, here's to a future that's bright. Here's to caring and doing it right. Here's to Market Square and Station Square, a backyard barbecue. Here's to you. Here's to Pittsburgh. Here's to the friends on the block. Here's to the dads and the locks. Here's to the new and the old, the steeples of green and gold. Here's to Green Tree and Shady Side. Here's to toasting Here's to the children we love. Hope is what they need a little more of. Here's to tradition so grand, tambourine sings for native land.